Hello again, Year 12. In this review lesson, we're going to look at the homework questions which focus on network security to do with encryption and to do with strong passwords. So we begin looking at the first question, which was you'd given three codes and you're asked to hack them. In CyberChef, I've just dragged across three recipes that will be using the base64 encoding, MD5 and the secure hashing algorithm 1. So I'm just going to enable my base64, and what you were asked to do was to basically to take each of these passwords which have been encrypted and find out what they were. So there's the first one, it's cracked, it was user 1 as password, etc. And I'm going to go down to, you would have copied and pasted them all into this recipe, and you would have found out that the admin's password is super secret password 123. That's question one. The second one we looked at was a hashing algorithm or an encryption algorithm called the MD5, and we were asked to find out what SwitchMe would look like if it was encoded with MD5. So I'm going to turn off the base64, just disable that, and I'm going to enable my MD5, and I'm copying in the recipe. SwitchMe, that's what it would be encrypted, so we would know if we've seen that password, that's what we're looking for. Some of us might have made a mistake because you'd hit the enter or maybe even an extra space, and you can see that changes the encoding because all ASCII values are going to be encoded. Very easy to crack, but still used across the internet when it comes to downloading different files and checking their authenticity. Finally, we're on to the secure hashing algorithm. Don't know, this was probably going back historically. I'm guessing about 15 years ago when it was popular. So I'm taking SwitchMe, which we already have, and I'm turning off MD5 and turning on the secure hashing algorithm, and we can see there is the output. So that was the first part of the homework, just getting your head around different encryption methods and seeing how easy some of the older ones are to crack with modern computing tools. Next, we're on to the password question, and again I have an excellent answer here provided by Adam, which I'll upload in the class, but I'm going to spend some time just going through it. There was three simple password rules, and you were asked to implement a script that would check for them but also give a score. So let's look at how Adam's got that. He's got a function called parse that's taking in a parameter called password. He starts by setting a score of 0. There's an integer value, starts with 0, and fixes as a blank string. And later on in the algorithm, he's going to update that blank string with different pieces of advice for the user. So when I run it and I type in Rathmore, we can see that Rathmore gets 0, and the fixes string has been updated with these tips. So if I run it and I put in capital R, put a lowercase r in again. If I run it with capital, it's 33% safe, and the advice associated with that. If it's Rathmore 12, 66% safe, and finally I'll put in a special character. Special character, uppercase, lowercase, and it's 99% safe, and the fixes is left empty and there's no advice for me. So that was his score and his fixes. Let's look at it. The first check is catching the length of it. If the length of the password is greater than 8, he's adding 1 to the security score. Else, he's updating. Look, he's assigning the fixes, which is blank, concatenated with this piece of advice. So he's updating the fixes. Then the next one, probably more difficult, where some people struggle, was how am I going to check if it's got both upper and lower cases in it. Adam's used the isLower method. Now that will return through if every single character is in lowercase, and isUpper will return through if every single character is in uppercase. So he's checking, look, if it's not all in lower, that obviously means some must be in upper, and Adam's used the not logic here. If not password is upper, that means some of it must be in lower. So if you meet both those criteria, you're going to get another 1 point added onto your score. Else, you get the idea, fixes are updated. Then the third clause was iterating through his special characters, and there was lots of good ways to do this. But he started off with a simple iteration for the letter in the password that's been passed in. He's starting with a flag. This is just a break out of his loop. If the letter is in this array, up the security, the flag is through and we break. If the flag is false, you've guessed it, update the fixes. And there's his main program, asking for the input and outputting it. So I'll upload that with your answers, rewind the video, go through your answers, and we meet again Monday when we're looking at the revision list for your March assessment. Have a good weekend.